Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So from now onwards, I will be taking lectures on the unit Plant Physiology. The first topic that I will be covering from this unit will be photosynthesis. And in this video, I will be briefing you the basic concepts about photosynthesis that will help you to brush your concepts that you have read in your previous classes. So now let's get started, and before that I would also like to urge you all to please watch this video till the end to have a holistic knowledge and the basic understanding about the concepts of this topic. So now let's get started. Okay, so first of all, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants synthesize organic compounds from the inorganic raw materials. So as you know that in any sort of equation or in any sort of chemical process, a chemical reaction, there are two things, the reactants and the products. The reactants combine to give the products. So here in the process of photosynthesis, the reactants are the basic inorganic raw materials. Okay, and these inorganic raw materials combine together to give rise to organic compounds. That is the product of this photosynthetic chemical reaction. Okay, so this equation, most of you actually must be familiar to this basic equation that you have read in your previous classes. So what does this equation state? This is the basic equation of photosynthesis. The inorganic raw materials are carbon dioxide and water. These two, the carbon dioxide combines with water, okay, in the presence of sunlight, and chlorophyll, the pigment that is present only and only in plants, and that is why plants are able to photosynthesize while we humans are not able to do that, okay. So the carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, and this gives C6H12O6 or glucose, and oxygen is evolved. Okay. So here these six are for balancing the entire equation. So here a very important concept that I would like to clear is that this oxygen is a byproduct. Okay. This is never a main product of photosynthesis, but this is actually a byproduct that is released as a byproduct of the chemical reaction. The main product is this carbohydrate, okay, because this carbohydrate is used by the plants for the process of growth and development. Okay. So now moving forward to the two types of synthesis of food by the autotrophs. One is the anoxygenic type of photosynthesis, and the other is the oxygenic type. Okay, so what is anoxygenic type? In the primitive time, when the primitive life existed, there were mostly anaerobic conditions. So there is no oxygen. So these primitive organisms, these primitive autotrophs, they utilized the chemical compounds available on the earth and harvested the energy from those chemical compounds. And therefore, the oxygen was not evolved as a byproduct of this entire assimilation process. And hence, since there is no oxygen evolved in this process, this is known as anoxygenic photosynthesis, or the photosynthesis without the oxygen. Okay, very clear from the term itself. So these utilize the energy stored in chemical compounds. For example, H2S was used as a source of electrons back then, in green sulfur bacteria. Okay. So this is about the anoxygenic type of synthesis. Okay, so now as these organisms depended on the various chemical compounds, eventually these compounds started to get depleted from the earth. Then there come the concept of, millions of years ago, the concept of oxygenic photosynthesis or the photoautotrophs. These photoautotrophs utilized the solar energy, okay, to produce reduced organic compounds and get energy from these organic compounds. So basically here the ultimate source of energy was sun. The these photoautotrophs in the process of oxygenic photosynthesis utilize the solar energy to produce reduced organic compounds. Okay, so here the water was used as a source of electrons, unlike the H2S that was used in case of an oxygenic type of photosynthesis. Okay. For example, the photoautotrophs carry out the process of oxygenic photosynthesis at all the green plants that are around us today. Okay, so I hope now you're clear about the two types of synthesis, the oxygenic and the non-oxygenic type of synthesis. Okay, so now moving forward to oxygenic type of synthesis or photosynthesis. So basically, this photosynthesis is a redox process. That is, what does a redox process means? A redox process, as is clear from the term, is reduction and ox is oxidation. So any process that involves both the reduction as well as oxidation of the compound in a chemical reaction is a redox process. So this photosynthesis is a redox process. So that means that something might be getting reduced, whereas the other thing might be getting oxidized. Okay, when do we call a reduction to take place? You might have learnt in your basic chemistry books. A reduction takes place when there is an addition of electrons, there is an addition of hydrogen, or there is a removal of oxygen. So under any of these three conditions, the process of reduction has taken place. Okay. Now, on the contrary, when does oxidation takes place? When it is removal of electrons, or it is removal of hydrogen, or it is addition of oxygen. Then it is called as oxidation process. So here, since photosynthesis is a redox process, there might be something that would be getting reduced and something that would be getting oxidized. So here, water, the basic water molecule is getting oxidized. That is known as the stage 1 of photosynthesis. Whereas the carbon dioxide is getting reduced in lieu of the water getting oxidized in the stage 2. Okay. So as you know that water is a very, very stable molecule. Okay. So to take out electrons from the water molecule is itself a very difficult task. And a very, very strong oxidizing agent is needed for this particular process. That is to take out the electrons from water, because water is a very stable molecule. And that particular compound I would be discussing when I would be discussing the light reaction in detail. Till now, just have an idea that water is a very stable compound. So to take out the electrons from water, you need a very strong oxidizing agent. Okay. Then now coming to stage 1, I would be dealing with the stage 1 in detail. And these two processes, most importantly, are coupled with the release of oxygen as a byproduct. Okay. Now coming to stage 1. Stage 1 is photolysis of water, which is also known as light reaction. So what happens in the stage 1? The chemical reaction that takes place is water molecule in the presence of light gets split up into oxygen, 4H positive and 4 electrons. Okay. So these electrons that are released as a process of photolysis. Photo means light and lysis means when the water molecule breaks down. So the breaking down of water molecule in the presence of light is referred to as photolysis of water, which is the stage 1 of photosynthesis process. Okay, also known as light reaction because it is taking place in the presence of light. Okay, light is the ultimate source of energy here, that is driving the release of electrons from water. Now these electrons, oxygen has been evolved. Okay, ये निकल गई, oxygen has been evolved as a byproduct. Now these electrons are the main thing that drive the entire process of photosynthesis further. Okay, so these electrons are utilized here in dark reaction, which is also known as the stage 2 or carbon dioxide assimilation phase. Okay, and also known as dark reaction. So these 4 electrons are utilized by carbon dioxide to produce the photoassimilate, okay, in the form of carbohydrate. So the equation, the chemical equation for this is CO2 plus 4 electrons plus 4 molecule 4 H positive gives CH2ON. If N becomes 6, then it becomes a basic glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6, and the water is released as a byproduct. So these two are the stages which we will be dealing in detail in a lot of depth of understanding is required for these two stages, that is the photolysis of water and carbon dioxide assimilation. Okay. So now we are done with the basic understanding of the process. Now coming to the site of photosynthesis, you might be wondering that where does the photosynthesis takes place. So the site of photosynthesis is the chloroplasts that are present only and only in plant cell. That is why the plants are able to perform photosynthesis, whereas animals are not able to perform it. Okay, so now we'll study the structure of chloroplast in a bit detail in this lecture. So the chloroplast is a double membrane bound cell organelle present only in plants. Okay, the outer membrane is freely permeable, whereas the inner membrane is semi-permeable, just like plasma membrane. Okay, so this double membrane bound organelle encloses a fluid filled structure, a fluid filled matrix which has a lot of structures inside it. So inside this double membrane, the fluid or matrix that is present is called as stroma. Okay, this is called as the entire fluid matrix is called as stroma, and this particular stroma is the site for dark reaction or phase 2 of photosynthesis. Okay, then inside the stroma there are sac-like structures present. These sac-like structures, what are these called? One single sac is called as a thylakoid, whereas these thylakoids are stacked, okay, one above the other, and the entire stack is called as granum, and there are several grana present in the entire stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, so this thylakoid or granum or thylakoid basically is the site for light reaction or stage 1 of photosynthesis. Okay, then these grana, one granum is connected to another granum with the help of stromal lamellae. Lamellae means a membranous structure, whereas since it is present in the stroma, it means it is called as stromal lamellae. Okay, so these grana are connected to one another with the help of stromal lamellae. Okay, what else? This is the basic structure. The main thing that you have to memorize here is that the site of light reaction is this thylakoid, whereas the site of dark reaction is this stroma. This is a question which they may ask you in the exam, but where does the dark reaction takes place, or where does the light reaction takes place? So you need to memorize this, and rest this. I hope the structure of the chloroplast is now clear to you. So this was about this lecture and the basic understanding of photosynthesis. Now moving forward in the next lecture, before going into the mechanistic details of process of photosynthesis, I would like to explain you all the other basic concepts associated with photosynthesis. For example, light. Light is the main source of photosynthesis, okay, which provides energy, okay, in the form of light, and then this energy is harvested. So I would like to take in detail the electromagnetic spectrum and the properties of light. Okay. Then I will take the various photosynthetic complexes that are involved in the process of photosynthesis in detail. Then I will move forward into the mechanistic details of photosynthesis, comprising of, like for example, the light reaction, the photophosphorylation process, the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, cyclic photophosphorylation, then the dark reaction, C3 cycle, C4 cycle, CAM pathway, photorespiration. Then I'll move on into details of each and every topic. So this was about this video. I hope you liked this. If you like, please press the like button. Please share it with your friends so that it becomes of help to them also. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also press the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever I put on any of the new videos and you don't miss on any of the content. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned to my channel.